White is about to throw away almost his entire army. His queen, both rooks, a bishop, all of it gone on purpose. And with the 3 little pieces he has left, he's going to force checkmate. Stay with me. Because by the end you'll see the one quiet move, not a check, not a capture, a move most players wouldn't look at twice, that turned this into the most famous game ever played. Let's go. It opens with a king's gambit. White plays e4, black answers e5, and then white does something that looks insane by modern standards. He offers his own f-pawn. Take it, he says, and black does. Now, why would you just give away a pawn on move 2? Because this is 1851. This is romantic chess. Back then, the whole point was to rip the position open, get your pieces out fast, and go straight for the king. Material was almost an afterthought. Keep that in your head. Because this entire game is one long argument that attack beats stuff. Every piece white owns is about to have a job. Black slides the queen out to h4 check, and here's the catch. White can't block with a knight, can't capture, so his king just steps up to f1, which means one thing: white has given up castling forever. His king is stuck in the middle for the rest of the game. That sounds like a disaster, right? A king in the center with the position cracking open. But watch what Anderson does with it. That queen on h4 looks aggressive. It's actually a liability. It's out early. It's exposed. And white is about to chase it around the board for the next 10 moves, gaining time on every single hit. The king settles on f1. Let me be honest with you, a computer hates this. You've wrecked your own king's safety to keep a gambit alive. But Anderson isn't playing the computer. He's playing a human over the board in the attacking style of his era. And his plan is simple and brutal. Develop with threats, keep black's queen running, and never let black catch a breath. He's not defending, he's hunting. Black plays b5, poking the bishop, and white grabs it, bxb5. Free pawn back. But that's not really the point. The point is the tempo. Notice a rhythm starting here. Almost every move white makes comes attached to a threat, so black never gets a free move to just develop and get safe. And that rhythm is the whole game. White gains time, black loses it. Knight to f3, and again, it hits the queen. See the pattern now. White brings a piece into the game and kicks the queen on the same move. 2 things at once. Black's most powerful piece is being shoved around like it owes money, while white quietly assembles an entire attacking force. Every tempo white wins here, he's spending on development. That's the trade, and it's about to pay off big. The queen retreats to h6. White plays d3, calm, quiet, just opening the diagonal for his light-squared bishop. No rush at all. That's the confidence of a great attacker. He knows the storm is coming, so he takes a second to bring another piece to life. And keep your eyes on the king side, the h file, the g file. That whole side of the board is where this game ends. It's already loading. Knight to h4, chasing the queen yet again. Count it up. Black's queen has now moved 5 times and accomplished absolutely nothing. 5 moves, no progress. Meanwhile, white's pieces are pouring off the back rank. This is exactly the deal Anderson wants. He trades time for material all game long, and right now he's collecting a fortune in time. The knight leaps into f5, planted right in black's face, staring at g7 and the dark squares around the king. This knight is a thorn, and it's not leaving. It's going to be part of the final mating net, believe it or not. And I told you it gets crazier. We're just warming up. The real fireworks are still coming. Black plays c6 to hit the bishop, and white answers g4, and that g4 is doing 3 things at once. It defends the knight on f5, it builds a pawn wall in front of black's king-hunting queen, and it traps black's knight out on the rim with nowhere good to go. So even while he's being poked and he's technically down material, white is gaining space and quietly making every black piece worse than it was a move ago. That's the thing about a real initiative. You're not just attacking, you're improving your position and downgrading theirs on the same move. Every move here is a threat or an upgrade. There is no wasted breath in this entire game. That's the standard, by the way. That's exactly what no water looks like at the board. Now really watch this one. Rook to g1. White just placed his rook on a square where black can win it, and he's going to allow exactly that. This isn't a blunder, it's a down payment. Remember this rook. In a few moves, black takes it, and white won't even flinch because that rook buys him something far more valuable than a rook. File this away. It matters. Black finally cashes in, takes the bishop on b5. And let's do the count because it's about to get ridiculous. Black is now up 2 pieces. 2 whole pieces. Hold that number in your mind because white is about to play the next stretch of this game like he's the one who's winning. White pushes h4, hunting that queen one more time. He is relentless. Queen to g6, and white jams the pawn to h5, kicking it again. Black's queen is being pushed around the board like a piece in a beginner's game. No coordination, no safety, just running. And while it runs, look at what white has. Nearly every piece developed and pointed at the black king. One side is playing chess. The other side is playing tag. And guess who's it? The queen drops to g5. White develops the queen to f3, and now it's aiming straight down the board at f7 and holding the center together. The net is being drawn. Slowly, patiently, one thread at a time. This is the part people skip when they tell this story, but it's the part that matters. The attack didn't come from nowhere. Anderson built it move by move while black grabbed pawns. Black's knight slinks back to g8, completely undeveloped. Think about that. This deep into the game, and black's kingside is basically still in the box. White grabs the f4 pawn with his bishop, opening even more lines toward the king. We're almost at the moment everything detonates. Stay with me. Black plays the queen to f6, finally trying to block white's threats and hold things together. White brings his last knight out to c3. Take a snapshot of the board right here. White has developed everything. Every single piece is in the game and aimed at the king. Black has a queen and a bishop doing a bit, and the entire rest of his army fast asleep. That imbalance is the whole story. That's what's about to get punished. Knight to d5. And this is a monster of a move. It forks the queen, it attacks the pawn on c7, and this is the quiet part. It guards the exact squares white will need for the mate. One move, 3 jobs. The threats are stacking up fast now, and this is the moment black really has to be careful. Slow down. Defend. Give something back. He does the opposite. Black takes the pawn on b2. Greedy. He's out on the edge of the board snacking on pawns while his king sits in the center with 0 help arriving. And this, right here, is the exact moment the game tips over. From here on, white stops defending anything and starts calculating a mate. Everything that follows he's already seen, and here it is. The single most famous quiet move in all of chess. Bishop to d6. Stop and really look at it. It's not a check, it's not a capture. Black can literally just take it for free with the bishop, with the c-pawn doesn't matter. So why is it genius? 2 reasons. First, it strangles the escape squares around the black king. It takes away e7 and f8, the exact squares the king will need to run to in a moment. Second, and this is the sneaky part, it's a decoy. If black grabs it, he spends a move that he desperately needs for defense, and white just keeps building. Think about the guts of this. Anderson is already down a rook that he hasn't bothered to save, and now he's offering a whole bishop on top of it, voluntarily, calmly, no check. He's spending material like it's water to buy the one thing he wants, a mating net. This is the move they wrote about for 170 years, the move that separates a good attacker from an immortal one. Here's the honest truth, though. If black ignores all the free food and just defends, gives some material back, untangles his pieces, he might actually survive. This game was never a forced win. It's something better. It's a demonstration. But nobody who's been grabbing this much material suddenly develops restraint. And black doesn't either. Black takes the rook on g1, the one I told you to remember way back, and white completely ignores it. He's down a rook, about to be down much more, and he doesn't spend one tempo looking back. That's the discipline of a real attacker. Once you commit to the mate, you never count the losses. You just finish. White pushes e5, slamming yet another door shut near the black king. Still no check. still just tightening the noose one square at a time. Notice white has barely given a single check this whole attack. He's not chasing the king with cheap checks, he's building a box around it. That's the difference between flashy and deadly. And now black gets greedy one last time. The queen swings all the way back to a1 and takes the other rook with check. Both of white's rooks gone now. Let's total up the damage because it's genuinely absurd. Black is up a bishop and both rooks and a couple of pawns. If you handed this position to a beginner with no context and asked who's winning, they'd say black easily, it's not even close. And they'd be dead wrong, because here's what actually matters, that black queen is now sitting in the far corner on a1, about as far from his own king as a piece can physically get. It spent the whole game eating material on the edge, and now, at the exact moment the king needs defenders, its most powerful piece is a tourist in the wrong corner. White's about to make him pay the full bill. Watch how fast it ends. King quietly steps to e2 out of the check. That's it. That's the whole response to losing a second rook, a calm little king move. And now look at the board honestly. Every white piece is a loaded gun. 2 knights, a bishop, a queen, all trained on a king with not one defender nearby. The material score says black is crushing. The board says black is dead. Guess which one wins. Black finally develops a fresh piece, knight to a6, but it's a spectator. And here's the tempo math that decides the whole game. Count the pieces actually attacking near the white king. 0, white has no king trouble at all. Now count the pieces defending near the black king, also basically 0. The a6 knight would need 3 or 4 moves just to get back and help, and black doesn't have 3 or 4 moves, he has none, because white gives check every move from here. That's the real story of this game in one number. White developed with threats and arrived with his whole army, while black's army arrived one move too late over and over until it was infinitely too late. The whole battle is on the black king, and black's reinforcements are in the wrong county. This is finished. Let me show you the finish because it's worth the wait. Knight takes g7 check, and the king goes to d8. See what happened there? White dragged the black king out of its last little pocket and into the open, and now it's boxed in on all sides by white's tiny pieces. There's exactly one move left in this game, and it is a thing of beauty. Get ready, white to move. He is down 2 rooks and a bishop, an absurd amount of material, and its mate in 2. Everything white has done for 20 moves points at this. Look at the whole board and try to find it. Pause the video right now and look. Queen to f6. He gives up the queen, his last big piece, thrown right in front of the king completely for free. After sacrificing this much, of course the finish is another sacrifice. Black takes the queen with the knight. Now, to be fair, there is one other legal move here. Black could block with the knight on e7 instead. But that gets mated just as fast, so it changes nothing. So the knight grabs the queen, and look what that capture does to black himself. His own knight now blocks the f6 square, seals off his king's heir, and hands white the exact position he's been building toward for 20 moves. Black's forced to help build his own coffin. That's the cruelty of a real attack. Even the defender's best move only tightens the trap. Bishop to e7, checkmate. And let's prove it's really mate because that's the beautiful part. The black king is on d8. Can it take the bishop on e7? No, the knight on d5 is guarding that square. Can it run to c7? No, that same knight on d5 covers c7 too. Can it escape to e8? No, the knight on g7, the one that's been sitting there since move 9, covers e8. And d7, c8. Blocked by black's own pieces. Nowhere to run. Nothing to capture. Nothing to block. Every escape square is covered by a piece worth 3 points or less. Just sit with that for a second. White finished the most famous game in history with a bishop and 2 knights, after throwing away his queen, both of his rooks, and another bishop along the way. 3 little pieces deliver the mate while a fortune in material sits uselessly on the other side of the board. Adolf Anderson, London, 1851. They called it the Immortal Game, and now you know exactly why. It's not that he won, it's how. Initiative over material, taken to the absolute limit. If that hit you the way it hits me every time, There's a whole channel of these games waiting for you. Stick around, the next one's just as wild.